Hari Om. Namaste everyone. Welcome to day 74 of 108 days of Surya Namaskara or Sun Salutations Challenge. Now you guys might be thinking, why am I wearing this sunglass? Well, it's so hot in here that I cannot even look at the camera. So I had to put this on so I can actually be stable while I'm speaking. So today, it's very important day regarding our yoga philosophy section and also the day on which I'm recording this video, which is 21st of June 2025, and today is a Saturday, the 11th International Yoga Day. Woohoo! So a very warm and auspicious greetings on this auspicious day, because in today's world it's so important, and that's why by the arduous effort of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji in the UN, it was declared the International Yoga Day on 2015. So 11th International Yoga Day straight we are celebrating all over the world. It is also the summer solstice, the longest day, right? The Uttarayan, the northern movement of the sun. Well, the earth is moving, but we call it the sun is moving to the latest part, the highest part of the northern hemisphere, and then it goes down. So the Dakshinayan would start, meaning the days will start becoming shorter and the nights will start becoming longer. Anyway, so having said that, on this very auspicious day, the yoga philosophy part is also very auspicious, because today we are going to talk about the 8th of the 8 limbs of yoga, which is Samadhi. So, as I said, it's an experiential truth. I cannot talk about Samadhi, but we will learn what Maharshi Patanjali has to say about Samadhi in one sutra. Okay, so first, as usual, let's get on to the mat. Every day is a yoga day for us, as you know. Today is the 74th day of our 108 days of yoga challenge. Every day is a yoga day for us. So I know we are celebrating it worldwide today as the International Yoga Day, but please understand, this is not a weekend thing. This is not a once in a year thing. This practice of yoga, it's a state of being where we want to be in yoga, with yoga, every single day of the year. So I know that those of you who are joining me here every single time, for us it's a common day because we are doing it every single day. So without further ado, let's do our Surya Namaskara asana. Thank you. I will move the sunglasses now. So welcome to the day 74 yoga philosophy section, and again a very, very auspicious and warm greetings for the occasion of 11th International Yoga Day, 21st June 2025, the day I'm recording this video. So Samadhi, 8th of the 8 limbs of yoga, and like I said, the superconscious state, Samadhi. I talked about this a little bit in the previous discussions, right? When I was talking about Pratyahara Dharana. Please watch the videos in this playlist. You can go to the Pratyahara Dharana, those videos, and you will see I talked about a little bit on the Samadhi part. But here we will learn the actual sutra. Sutra number 3 of chapter 3, Vibhuti Padaha in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, to see what Maharshi Patanjali has to say regarding Samadhi. So the sutra goes like this. Tadevartha matra nirbhasam swarupa shunyamiva samadhi. Tadevartha matra nirbhasam swarupa shunyamiva samadhi. Means tat eva matra nirbhasam swarupa shunyam iva samadhi. Means that itself. That means connecting to the previous sutra we learned about meditation. When we are tatra pratyayikatanata dhyanam, when we are channelizing our cognition towards, in a continuous flow, towards our chosen object of dharana, right? Or concentration object. When we are being in the meditative state, that meditation itself, when that itself is shining, means the cognition of whatever we are meditating on, only that is existing. Swarupa Shunya means without having the form of whoever is cognizing, means this mind, this chitta, without assuming any form of its own, when there is only the cognition of the topic, of the subject that we have chosen on, when only that remains. As if whoever is cognizing it, like our mind, it does not exist. Eva means as if. As if Swarupa Shunyam means as if the object that is cognizing it, our intellect, our mind, as if that does not exist. The only thing that exists is that meditation itself. Then that state is Samadhi. Remember when we talked about that there is an object, it's one-way direction, then the object is revealing itself about its sukshmati sukshma, means minutest of the minute, right, of its information to us. And then what happens is we become one with the object. In other words, okay, in that sense is our existence as a separate entity of somebody is cognizing about the object, that does not remain anymore. Whatever is being cognized upon, that dhyana, that continuous channelizing of our cognition towards the continuous flow of our cognition towards that chosen object of concentration, only that remains, only that shines forth without assuming any form, without the mind assuming any form of its own. Swarupa Shunyam Iva Samadhi. That state is Samadhi. So there is just the cognition remaining, not somebody else cognizing about something. I know it might be a little tricky, but think about this. When I say this is the camera, I am speaking, there is a duality here. If I become the shooting, if I become the camera, what does it mean is that there is no separation between I and the camera itself. I'm so much into it, into channelizing my cognition to that, like into the dhyana of this. About, suppose I'm choosing my dhyana to be on this camera, that I lose my own entity and only that remains is my cognition of the camera. Does it make sense? You can think of any other examples of your own choice. So there is no separation of somebody cognizing it, the object, the seer and the sin. Yeah. So I would mention, I'm getting very tempted to mention about a text, Drig Drishya Vivekaha. Drig Drishya Vivekaha. You can just, it's a very deep Upanishadic kind of wisdom of knowing oneself, layer by layer, peeling layer by layer of who we are. Drig Drishya Vivekaha means the distinguishing of the Drik and Drishya, the seer and the seen. Okay, so There is no separation anymore. When that state happens, that is Samadhi. Having said that, I want to also mention the next sutra, which is Trayam Ekatra Sanyamaha. Trayam Ekatra Sanyamaha. Sutra number 4 of chapter 3, Vibhutipadaha, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, means Trayam Ekatra Sanyamaha. These three together, which three? Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, the three Antaranga Sadhana. Remember, we started the chapter 3 with these three definition of these three limbs. These three together is called Sanyamaha. Sanyam in literal meaning, loosely speaking, when we talk in our day-to-day life, we mean Sanyama as regulation, control, restraint, or discipline, some austere disciplinary restraint. Sanyam means control, right? Having in check. Here, Maharshi Patanjali is saying that Trayam Ekatra Sanyamaha means Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi together is called Sanyam. Okay? Moving forward in the subsequent sessions, we will talk about what happens when somebody is established in Sanyam. Sanyama means Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. We'll learn about that. Then Maharshi Patanjali talks about a little bit about different kinds of Samadhi, like we talked about Samadhi, right? So he reconnects back to the discussion of Samadhi, right? What we were having in chapter 1. I know that probably we haven't discussed it here, but in chapter 1, he talks about different kinds of Samadhi, Sabija Samadhi, Nirvija Samadhi, like that. So he mentions a little bit about those, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, what kind of Samadhi they lead to, and things like that. And then the third chapter, as I told you, the name is Vibhutipadaha, means it's a manifestation leg, manifestation quarter. So which means that it talks about different kinds of manifestations that happens when one is established into the Bahiranga and the Antaranga sadhana of yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga. Fascinating. We will talk about all those. But for now, I want to draw a conclusion. I don't want to linger this because it's Samadhi. I can't talk about it. It's an experiential science and I don't have much experience about Samadhi. Meaning, probably I have had some of those experiences when I was in my Anandamaya Kosha and then went to a meditative state, and from Dhyana, just touched the state of Samadhi when I became one with what I was doing or that object of my Dhyana. But the only difference between us and the avatar Purusha like Sri Ramakrishna, Paramahamsa, Yogananda or Ramana Maharshi is that they could have attained the Samadhi state at will, and they were so refined in their body, mind, spirit that this was not like a rare instance for them. Okay, but I want to say that this is the state of Samadhi is accessible to each and every one of us. That's why it's given as a technology. Just like a remote control, when you press a button, if it is of the TV, if you press the right button, it will get turned on. Whether you press it or your child presses it or anybody who presses the right button, the TV will be on. It's a technology. Okay. So with that, I want to wish you all a very, very warm and auspicious and prosperous International Yoga Day. I know that whoever is joining here, we have all made yoga as part of our daily routine and not just once in a year phenomena. So please continue that, like, share, comment, subscribe to this video and the other videos in this playlist. Share generously with your loved ones and make them a part of this transformation, this movement towards uplifting, raising the human consciousness in sum total. Thank you. See you on the 75th session. Hari Om. Bye-bye.